Hi, how are you? Matt Watson here from CarWow. So I've got an amazing drag race for you today because I've got the fastest car from each of Porsche's normal model ranges. So I've got a 911, I've got a Taycan, I've got a Panamera, I've got a Cayenne, I've got a 718 and I've got a Macan, and we're going to time them over the standing quarter mile to just see how the performance differs. Okay, let me tell you about all these different cars. I'm sat in a 911 Turbo S, which is the fastest 911. It has a 3.8 litre twin turbo flat six with 650 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. It drives all four wheels via an 8-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox, and this car weighs in at 1,640 kilos. The price, £168,000. Next to me is the Taycan Turbo S, the quickest Taycan. It has dual motors, one on each axle, and combined they put out 761 horsepower and 1,050 newton meters of torque. It has a 2-speed gearbox for great off-the-line acceleration, though with all the batteries on board it is quite heavy. It tips the scales at 2,295 kilos and price £142,000. Next is the Panamera Turbo S. Now that has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with 630 horsepower and 820 newton meters of torque. It's got an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox and 4-wheel drive and weighs in at 2,080 kilos. It costs £141,000, so it's slightly less expensive than the Taycan Turbo S. Now some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, doesn't the e-hybrid version of the Panamera have more power? Well, yes it does, but it's also heavier and therefore isn't actually quite as quick as the Turbo S. And that brings you on to the Cayenne GT. So that has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with 640 horsepower and 850 newton meters of torque. It's got an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox with all-wheel drive and weighs in at 2,220 kilos. That car costs £150,000. Next to that is the 718 BoxsterGTS. So this car has a 4-litre naturally aspirated flat six engine with 400 horsepower and 430 newton meters of torque. It has a 7-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox driving the rear wheels, and it weighs in at 1,435 kilos. The cost of that car is just under £71,000. Now you might also be thinking, well wait a minute Matt, isn't the Cayenne GT a GT model and therefore not normal? Well actually it is a normal model because it isn't built out of Visac like the proper GT cars such as the GT4 RS. Okay, so shut up. Anyway, let's move on to the Macan GTS. It has a 2.9 litre twin-turbo V6 with 440 horsepower and 550 newton meters of torque. It has a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox with all-wheel drive, and the car weighs in at 1,960 kilos. It costs £68,000. That was quite a lot to remember. Also, there's another thing I need to tell you, and that's the fact that in the Taycan Turbo S, we have our new German YouTube presenter.
Daniel, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, what do you think is going to happen here, right? I mean, the big battle is between me in the 911 Turbo S and you in the Taycan Turbo S. Who's going to come out on top?
I think I have a fairly good chance off the line, and I have a 2-speed transmission, which is rare for electric cars, so I might also have an advantage going very, very fast. So I feel confident that I can actually win this.
Well, it's a case of England versus Germany, although this is mainly German because of all the cars. Anyhow, if you'd like to watch in German, then click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below to head over to our revised German CarWow YouTube channel. Go check it out. Obviously, if you're not German, you might just still want to go there to see what happens from Daniel's perspective. Also, make sure you subscribe to that channel, and of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon, turn your notifications on, that way you won't miss a single upload. So enough of that, let's get on with the race. Buy, sell, CarWow. Before we race, we're going to do the customary CarWow sound check. So I'm going to rev up this 911 Turbo S. Doesn't sound great. Soft limiter. Still, it's going to sound better than that Taycan Turbo S because it's electric, so it doesn't make a noise really unless you're driving, then you get fake sounds. However, what we usually do is get the driver to make some noises of their own in the car. So, bad luck, Daniel. Daniel, seeing as your car's electric, we're going to need you to make some exhaust or engine noises. So can you make some car noises, please?
Oh yes, absolutely. This is not embarrassing at all.
Okay, so Daniel, I can see you making some noises. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear them, so I didn't, you know, I want to have a listen. I want to laugh at you. So would you mind doing them again?
Yes, I was expecting you were going to say something like this. Okay, now my very competent, serious car noise. That sounded like a mule or something, but I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I think you've got a leak in your exhaust with the noise of that. Okay, right, anyway, let's move on to the Panamera. Go rev that up, let's have a listen to that. Panamera driver, have you actually revved it? I can't hear a thing.
Yeah, it's your favourite soft limit, Matthew.
Okay, let's move on to the Cayenne Turbo GT. We're going to get into the soft limits rig. On, rev that up. No, I didn't hear that either. Soft limiter, I'm guessing?
Very much so.
This is really boring, isn't it? Okay, so can we hear the BoxsterGTS, please? I'm guessing you've got a soft limiter as well in the Boxster, but because it's naturally aspirated, it just sounds better. I can hear it from over here.
Yeah, soft-ish, about 5k.
Yeah, it's not that soft. It's not soft as this. This is really soft, like really droopy. Okay, and finally then, what about the Macan GTS? What you got? Finally then, now that's all done, we are going to race. But before we do, if you're thinking about selling your car and you want to make sure you get a great price for it, click on the pop-out banner up there, or the link in the description below to go to Carway to sell your car. You just upload some photos, give a brief description, then our dealers will bid on your car. The service is completely free. If you want to do that at a later date, just simply Google "Help Me Carway" and we will help you sell your car. There's one more thing we need to do before we race actually. That's warm the tyres. Now that's done, finally, we're going to race.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, such a good launch for everyone.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Haven't these 911? Oh. Victory. That was absolutely awesome. First of all, got to go to you, Daniel. We launched pretty much neck and neck there, mate. Taycan is so fast off the line being electric, but this Turbo S, I mean, it does so well.
It's absolutely impressive how fast this thing is with all of the mechanics, the gearbox and everything that Taycan doesn't have, and it still is so fast.
I'll tell you what else though, that Panamera off the line, I mean, it was just like pretty much neck and neck with me as well. It was just, that's nuts, but then sort of got dropped, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't understand the speed of this thing off the line. It's madness.
Yeah, for a four-door, comfy, practical car, it is nuts, which actually brings me on to that Cayenne GT. How was it for you, darling?
It was lovely, thank you. Couldn't catch the Panamera, but well clear of the other two.
Let's go to the other two. 718, how was it?
Bit of a so-so launch, but back in Division 2, but got a lovely view of the Cayenne.
And finally, Macan, were you last?
I had quite a shocking launch. I don't really know what happened. Launch control was all good, and then it just kind of sat at revs and went nowhere.
Well, do you know what? Just to be fair, on the 718 and the Macan, seeing as you weren't so pleased with your launches, I reckon we should definitely do a best 2 out of 3.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, it looks like we've got a problem with the Cayenne GT this time. Okay, so we've got a very similar result. First of all, I need to go to the Cayenne GT. Did you have an issue, mate?
I went a touch early on the launch control, so it disengaged just as the flag dropped.
Other than that, Macan, how was it for you?
Absolutely spot on. Still got a bit of rated one that everyone got going.
So basically, we're going to have to do it again, so we can get the proper times to compare the cars. We need them all to perform at their best. So it's going to be best 3 out of 3, I think, for this, isn't it?
3, 2, 1.
Wow, this is close. Great launch for everyone, but .911, it's just got the performance. Taycan, that was awesome launch, but despite the fact that you're electric, you got instant response, this still beat it.
It felt about as good as it gets, and I'd like to imagine that I was ahead of you for a brief moment until I wasn't anymore.
And Panamera?
This thing's comic book fast. What a car. Unbelievable.
Cayenne?
Got away nicely, but slightly lonely fourth place.
718?
Got a really good launch as the only rear-wheel drive, but yeah, just definitely in Division 2 on that run.
And finally the Macan.
Yeah, great launch. Thought I had the Boxster slightly for a second at the start, but then, you know, just kind of dropped back as expected.
So then what exactly happened? Well, the 911 won, completing the standing quarter mile in 10.3 seconds. The Taycan finished in 10.6 seconds, the Panamera took 11 seconds, and the Cayenne 11.7 seconds. The 718 crossed the line in 12.3 seconds, while the Macan was last, completing the standing quarter mile in 12.7 seconds. Okay, now we're going to have a rolling race from 50 miles an hour. The cars are in their normal comfort setting, an automatic mode for the gearbox. We're going to see what happens. Get level, everyone. Come on, everyone level. Right, I'm going to count it in. 3, 2, 1, go. Goodbye, Taycan. And goodbye, Cayenne. Can I catch the Taycan up before the half mile? Come on, 911. Bye. Well, that was really interesting. When my car was kicking down the gears, the Taycan jumped ahead by about 20 to 30 metres. But then, Daniel, that gap just steadily shrunk and then went in reverse, didn't it?
Yeah, it was quite disappointing. The amazing thing is I'm in normal and the car responds as good as it does. So if I'm not in normal but in Sport Plus, I might beat you.
Panamera, how was that?
Sorry, I'm still kicking down. I'll come back to you when it's finished.
Cayenne though, the car with the automatic torque converter gearbox rather than a PDK dual clutcher, seemed to kick down quicker, didn't it?
Yep, it just went. Sorry, Panamera, but I was well ahead.
718?
It was pretty good. I think I'm just missing the boosted grunt that everyone else has got.
So were you last over the half mile?
I don't think I was. I think there was something in my mirrors.
Okay then, Macan, how was it?
I started alright, quite responsive, held third the whole way, and then once everyone got going, I dropped really, really far back.
Okay, now we're going to have another rolling race from 50 miles an hour. This time though, the cars are in their sportiest setting and we're locked in third gear. I'm going to count it in. 3, 2, 1, go. That Taycan doesn't have such an advantage now. It's getting seriously dropped. Ah, Daniel, your advantage was diminished somewhat.
Yes, it was, sadly.
Did he beat the Panamera to the half mile?
Yeah, he just beat me. But I think if it was going further on, I would have beaten him. And that would have been delicious.
Okay, Cayenne.
Yeah, lonely fourth.
It's just mid-table exactly in terms of performance. Okay, 718.
It was pretty good, there or thereabouts.
Okay, and then Macan, were you last again?
Well, I was actually really close to the Boxster for a while, but as with most things in life, it's the hope that kills you. It got me.
Okay, so this time we're going to have a rolling race from 30 miles an hour, and we're going to be in whichever gear we want to be in. So I'll pick mine, I'm going to go in second. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. Taycan's away again, but not by a huge margin, and now it's getting absolutely dumped. Whoa. Taycan, with each race, your advantage is getting steadily diminished, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be the car, not me.
Well, basically, it is the car. It's nothing to do with you not changing any gears. All you're doing is just planting your right foot. Panamera, were you closer to the Taycan that time?
Oh, it was exactly the same, just a different gear.
Cayenne?
Thought I might get the Panamera for a minute, but just wasn't quite there.
Ah, so it was a bit closer than the other races.
Yep, I thought I was going to get him that time.
718?
That was ace in first gear. I was a few seconds hopes up in the hunt, and then it sort of settled back down to normal.
And Macan, where did you come?
Last. I mean, no surprise.
Now we're going to have a brake test from 100 miles an hour. When we reach the line, full emergency stop, we'll see which car stops in the shortest distance. If you'd rather watch another video with Porsche's drag racing, click on the pop-out banner up there, or follow the link in the description below. Here comes the line. That is interesting. Bizarrely, Cayenne, you seem to have won that. How?
I'm calling that as good. I hit the line bang on, and it absolutely just stood on its nose.
Panamera, you beat the 911.
Yeah, I would say that's down to the softness of this car compared to yours, I would imagine, that's all.
Taycan, you know, quite a heavy car, but still stopped pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the other two lighter cars, which I would expect to beat me, yeah, so it's all right.
718?
Pretty much as quick as it was going to stop, but I guess maybe smaller front tyres. Don't know.
just saying things now. Excuses. And finally, Macan. Macan, last again, eh?
It's kind of another postcode here, so I hope there's no mail for me waiting.
Oh wow, if you like videos such as this and you want to see some other kind of videos and you want them in German, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below to go check out Daniel on the German CarWow YouTube channel.